This is the last example for lesson 1.8. Alfonso has invested $750 for 1 year at 8% annual interest. He's using the equation T equals P times 1 plus R to the T, where capital T is the total principal and interest in the account, small p is the principal, R is the interest rate divided by the number of times interest is compounded, and T is the number of times the interest is compounded times the number of years. A, if the interest is compounded semi-annually, how much will he have at the end of 1 year? So let's write out that formula. Okay, so that's the formula. Let's plug in what we know. So we're trying to figure out capital T, that total principal and interest in the account. And we know P is the principal, and that was $750, because that's what he put in. That was the initial amount. 1 plus R is the interest rate. And in this case, it was 8%, so you got to do 0.08, because that's 8%. Make sure you change that to decimal. Don't just put in the number 8. It has to be 0.08%. Divided by 2, because the R is the interest rate divided by the number of times interest is compounded. In this case, they said compounded semi-annually, which means twice a year. So you got to divide it by 2. And you're going to raise that to T. And in this case, T is going to be the number of times the interest is compounded times the number of years. So it's going to be compounded twice. Okay. When we solve that, we solve what's inside the parentheses first. 1 plus 0.08 divided by 2, square that, multiply that whole thing by $750, and you should get T of $811.20. Make sure you can put that in your calculator and make sure you're following order of operations. Parentheses come first, so do what's inside the parentheses, that 1 plus 0.08 divided by 2, and then exponent, so you square it, and then multiplication, multiply by 750. Okay, part B. How much will he have at the end of the second and third years? So I'm going to work that out down here. So T sub 2 equals, because that's the second year. The first year we had 811.20. We just figured that out over here on the top right. So that is our new P. 811.20. 1 plus R, our interest rate is still 0.08. And it's still 2 divided by 2 because it's compounded semi-annually, and it's still squared. So you figure that out. T sub 2 equals $877.40. That's T sub 2. Okay, T sub 3. Now we have $877.40 times 1 plus 0.08 divided by 2 squared. T sub 3 equals 949.00. Okay, that's how much he's going to have after end of the year 2, 877.40, and end of year 3, 949. Okay, part C. How much will he have after 10 years? Okay, T sub 10, the 10th term. Well, we don't know what he has after 9 years, but we do know what he has after 3 years, which was $949. So 949, 1 plus 0.08 divided by 2, because it's still compounded semi-annually as it said in part A. But this time, it's not going to be squared because we're at the 10th term, but we only know the third term. So it's going to be T in this case, because that's that exponent T. It's going to be the number of times the interest is compounded, which we know it's compounded 2 times a year, semi-annually, times the number of years. Well, in this case, we were at T sub 3, and we're going to T sub 10, so it'd be times 7. So 2 times 7, because 10 minus 3 is 7. So T sub 10, if you plug that all in, calculate what's inside the parentheses first, the 1 plus 0.08 divided by 2. And then take that to the 14th power, because 2 times 7 is 14, so let's write that out. Okay, so this is 2.04 because we divided 0.08 divided by 2, so that's 0.04. I apologize, that should be 1.04 because 0.08 divided by 2 is 0.04 plus 1 is 1.04. Raised to the 2 times 7, so that would be the 14th power. Okay, and then we're going to do 1.0 to the 14th power first, and then multiply by 949. So you should get t sub 10 equals $1,643.36. So that's how much he will have after 10 years.